The greatest Canadian. The greatest Canadian. The greatest Canadian. Recently, I've been challenged to pick someone who I think is the greatest Canadian. Now, many would say Chris Hadfield, the astronaut, Wayne Gretzky, the hockey player, or David Suzuki, the environmentalist, but I picked someone a little bit different. Drum roll, please. James Cameron! Now you may be thinking, really? The guy who made Arnold Schwarzenegger say, "I'll be back" for the first time? Well, in truth, James Cameron is an innovative and inventive filmmaker who makes entertaining and visually astounding films, and he has been known as one of the leading figures in the craft. Don't believe me? Here's a flawless collection of all of his films. By the way, I'm just gonna have Avatar being screened back here, just so you don't get bored of me, so don't mind. Anyway, in order to understand how great the man is, we must take a look at his past. James Cameron was born in 1954 in oh, whatever. Anyway, James Cameron came from a fairly artistic family, as his mother was not only a nurse but also a painter. James Cameron did not at first want to be a filmmaker, instead a physicist. In fact, James Cameron even went to university to study physics and completed it. Now, this may have seemed like a waste of time to some, knowing about his future, but this has given him the technical edge for his filmmaking, and has overall helped him with perfecting his craft. But wait, slow down. Even after studying for physics, James Cameron still wasn't interested in filmmaking. He worked for a company driving a truck directly after he received his physics degree, and taught himself about film special effects in the process. This is where his filmmaking interest started to surface. But it took him until 1977 for him to fully realize his passion for film, after he saw the original Star Wars in theaters. And I'm talking about this Star Wars, not this Star Wars, because this Star Wars I'm pretty sure will not inspire the next James Cameron. Anyway, his first feature film was released in 1982, and to much surprise, it was not in fact The Terminator. It was Piranha 2: The Spawning, a film we won't talk about. Luckily, he realized I have potential to do much better, and that's where The Terminator came in 1984. Yes, my friend, this is the all-time classic that you know and love, as the movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as the big giant Austrian robot set to kill Sarah Connor. Yes, action movies don't get more classic than this. This film contained innovative special effects, essentially established James Cameron as a director that is a force to be reckoned with. So, how do you follow up such action-packed awesomeness? Romance! Yes, of course, I'm talking about the Oscar-winning, sometimes loved, most times hated, Titanic. Yes, whether you cared about Jack and Rose or not, audiences for the most part loved it, as it kind of just became the highest grossing movie of all time. That means more than Star Wars. And the critics loved it too, as the movie won 12 Oscars. James Cameron himself won 3 that night. Best Director, Best editor, and for Best Picture. Yeah, so whether you like it or not, Titanic was an important moment in pop culture and fully let James Cameron into the mainstream. But in the midst of all this fame, glory, fortune, James Cameron decided to take a break from movies, and he focused on one of his other passions: nature, the great outdoors, and the sea. Yes, James Cameron, on top of being an astounding filmmaker, is also an active environmentalist and constantly supports veganism, and so much so that in 2012, he got a frog named after him. I think you pronounce it Priscimas James Cameroni. This was discovered in Venezuela, and kind of leads me to wonder why they named it after James Cameron, as he's never really done anything for Venezuela. But whatever, it's cool anyway. In this time, Cameron also co-invented the 3D fusion camera system, an innovative technical achievement that has been used in many films since. But finally, in 2009, James Cameron returned to what he does best: sci-fi filmmaking. And he followed this up with the astounding film which you know as Avatar. You know, like that Avatar. The film turned out to be another smash for James Cameron, as he kind of topped his record for Titanic, and Avatar became the highest grossing movie of all time, making $2.79 billion worldwide, just above, what else? Titanic, which made $2.19 billion worldwide. Wow, way to beat yourself, James. But anyway, many people have been wondering why James Cameron has been taking so long to make Avatar 2 and 3. Well, that's kind of because he built his own submarine to go into the lowest point of the ocean. James Cameron actually survived the Deepsea challenge. A challenge, obviously, to go to the lowest point of the ocean, and even made a documentary about it. Anyway, at the current moment, James Cameron is working on Avatar 2 and 3, and a couple more documentaries about the sea, of course. But his films will always stand the test of time, and will always represent Canada in a positive way. And although the man does make movies in America, he proudly proclaims that he is Canadian. So that concludes my segment about James Cameron. But I just want you to remember one thing from this presentation, is that being a great Canadian isn't about what you do, but how great you do it and how it represents Canada in the end.